Now if it's a party, you know I slide through. Ain't why me shine with no dime. When I slide through. Hey bitch, I'm elevator high. When I slide through, I keep it real, I don't lie. When I slide through.
Yes, sir. Home team. What's happening? Home team. This your boy Blakberry Rex.
Like I'm 10 feet high, ho, I'm just outstanding. That mean that I can't lie. I got the green next to me.
It's Thursday, which only means one thing: is 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on a Thursday night. It's time for the Rex pick. Without further ado, let's get things kick started, man. The Atlanta Hawks have been busy on this February 6th, which is just so happens to be the day of my baby girl being born into this world of ours. Happy birthday to my baby girl. She is 5 years old today, and I want to say happy birthday to my baby girl, Chrisette. I love you. Daddy loves you. And I cannot wait till the weekend so Daddy can properly turn up for his baby girl on her 5th birthday. Shout out to my baby girl. But also, the Atlanta Hawks have been busy on February 6, 2025. Landry Fields, I got to say, I just might have to recant some of my statements about Jarvis Landry in the front office, but we'll get to that. The Atlanta Falcons, we still got to do an all-season tracker on those guys and see what's currently going on in the media with the Atlanta Falcons. It's the all-season. It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to ponder, a lot of discussion that we need to ponder about when it comes to them Falcons. I appreciate everybody that's came through so far. We got King Quest in the building. What's up with your King Quest, man? Got Brian Peoples, B Peeps in the building. He say, home team. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all coming through, man. I was going to do my round 2 or my part 2. I keep saying round. I guess because it's almost draft season. So I keep putting round where part should be. But I was going to do a part 2 of my linebackers and safeties in the draft. But we got plenty of time to cover the draft for the Falcons. I got 2 major topics that I want to go over tonight. And they're really questions because I want to see where everybody else is on this with the topic on the Hawks, with the Trae Young topic, with can the Hawks build around a 6'1", buck 45 guard? And if so, how much life is in that a team of that nature? If we can put a championship team around them, how much life is in a team of that nature? Is it going to be a we went around the sun one time type deal, or is it going to be we can repeat this thing type deal, or is it a ain't no goddamn way type deal? I want to know what people think. And then on the Atlanta Falcons side of things, I want to know if, with the latest news about Kirk Cousins on Good Morning Football, revealing that he did indeed incur some injuries in Week 10 against the New Orleans Swamp Skanks, with him revealing these injuries, and saying he did keep it from everyone, is Kirk Cousins the biggest finesser in the NFL? We know him and his agent will finesse the hell out of contract, and we know that he will finesse his way in the media or in the locker room. So is he the biggest finesser? And if he is the biggest finesser, has it impacted the Atlanta Falcons to the point to where the blame is to be put on Raheem Morris, or is the blame to be put on Kirk Cousins? Do they share the blame for the team's downfall after going 6-3 in the season? What say you, people? What say you? But this is what I want to get into. We're gonna kick this off with the Falcons, because while the Hawks news is more current and it is, a little bit more breaking news, I think the conversation about the Falcons is almost to the point to where people are getting sick and tired of the soap opera-esque narratives that tend to generate out of thin air when it comes to the fan base. Instead of people using what they know, they go off of what they think they know. And this comes from your boy Blakberry. This is how I look at this. The Atlanta Falcons are definitely the team in the NFL right now that if this were soap opera, they are that team. They are that character on the show that everybody thought was dead for 6-7 years. And all of a sudden they resurface. They resurface, and now there's something to talk about with the Falcons again. In this case, it's quarterback controversy with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix. So we're going to start off with this. Are the Falcons a self-sabotage team? Are the Falcons a self-sabotage team? I think it's a legitimate question. I think it is. And I don't know. Maybe it ruffles some people's feathers. What's up with your Black? What's up with your Michael? What's happening? Are the Falcons a self-sabotaging team? The reason why I ask this question, I'm 37 years old. Even when I was playing football, I wasn't necessarily paying attention to the NFL or college for the most part in detail. I had a team or two that I liked a lot. I was a fan of the Falcons. I want to say I started playing football my 8th grade year of school. In the 8th grade, that's when I started playing football. I didn't really take it seriously until probably my sophomore year of high school, where I I hurt my ankle pretty bad. That was my first ankle injury. But I started paying a little bit more attention to detail around that year. That was 2000. Sophomore year for me was 2005, 2004. Sophomore year of high school for me was 2004. I graduated 06. I started paying a little bit of close to attention to detail in football. I was a Falcon fan, but not nearly as much as I am now. It was just they were the home team. Y'all know I represent the home team. I've always been a representative of the home team. But I didn't pay attention to who is who, and I wasn't even paying attention to X's and O's like I should have been while playing the game. I was an airhead. My head was in the clouds a lot. I was worried about gals and trying to look good and have fun and shit. Played ball because I was good at it, not necessarily because I played because I wanted to be a ball player professionally too, because I thought it was cool, because I thought it made me interesting, but not necessarily because I loved football and I was good at it. I didn't fall in love with football until when I didn't have it. I seen how much I missed it, and that was when I broke my ankle my sophomore year of high school. So that's when it was taken away from me, and I couldn't get it back until mid-season, my junior year. It was like, okay, I gotta do this. I love this. That's when I started paying attention to who's who in football, like the X's and O's, the schemes, the concepts of football. That's when I started paying more attention to it. So that was around 05, 06. Well, 05, my junior year. So since I've been paying attention to it, which was my first real experience with the Falcons, was my dad took me to one of those 98 games when we went to the Super Bowl. He took me to one of those games against the 49ers. We were at home. We put a whooping on them real bad. We put up like 40 some on them, and it was still the third quarter. It was a pretty good whooping we put on the Niners. And that was my first real experience with the Falcons. So, of course, my first upset or letdown from the Falcons was the 98-99 season Super Bowl, where the report came out that the Falcons players were out partying the night before the game, and one of them, Eugene Robinson, gets arrested for buying a hooker. So that was my first, and then of course we all know what happened. The Broncos proceeded to whoop our ass, and the only score we saw from that game was a Tim Dwight kickoff return for a touchdown. So that was my first letdown for the Falcons. Ever since then, I've seen this team self-sabotage themselves. And people can say, well, individuals make their own choices. Like, just because players play for teams, you can't group the team in a bad decision that the players make. Well, you can do that because that team pays that player a whole heck of a lot of money to represent that team, which means they have people that keep an eye on these players. Don't think these owners pay all this money to these players and don't have somebody watching them. They definitely have PR people watching and giving these guys advice on how to move out here. Ever since I've seen the 98-99 letdown, which is the same season the Dirty Bird was invented. That's the same season it was invented. The Dirty Bird dance. I've seen this team self-sabotage itself. Is this team a self-sabotaging team? What's good, Jonte Rogier? It's a fair question because everything that this team has been through from once I've started paying it some attention, which was the 98 season, there has always been something that goes on within this organization that has nothing to do with an outside team, that has nothing to do with an outside coach. There's always been something internally off the field. There's always been something internally off the field. Or if it was something that had to do with on the field, it came in the nature of someone quitting in the middle of a season, which was what's his name? Well, I forget the coach's name right now, but we had a coach quit in the middle of a season. Hell, I think he quit in the middle of a game. We got possibly could have been the biggest name, biggest asset to this team ever in Michael Vick. Dogfighting, goes to prison for 2 years. Then, of course, we know the Super Bowl collapse. The 2012 NFC Championship game is, which you probably can't categorize that into what I'm saying, but now we got this Kirk Cousins and admitting he was hurt, but keeping it from everybody. And now you got a divided fan base that doesn't know whether or not to put the blame on Raheem Morris or to put the blame on Kirk Cousins. I literally have an indictment video. Go down my list of videos and look for the indictments video. I hold everybody accountable. Everybody is to blame in your boy Blakberry opinion. No one person holds the weight of the letdowns, the losses by themselves. Everybody gets indicted. Everybody has something to do with it. You can't just put it all on one person. Guess what? Raheem Morris, he should have did what was right. And after the second game, seeing that Kirk, after that second straight loss, when he saw that Kirk's not looking, something ain't looking right. Something ain't looking right. That's all it should have took, in my opinion. It should have never got to where you go 4 straight losses with Kirk Cousins going 0-8. 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That should not happen. So that's his indictment. T-Terry, what's happening? But the indictment on Kirk Cousins is what you did was selfish. It was selfish as hell. Because you deprive this team of having a legitimate opportunity of making the playoffs, a legitimate opportunity of actually being able to win a playoff game. Anybody watch this playoffs? This playoff season, this season, the Atlanta Falcons could have hung with anybody. Anybody. AFC or NFC. They could have hung with anybody in these playoffs. Nobody straight up just walked over somebody. This right here. What's up? Which Corey give 5? Like he said right here. That's Kirk low-key being a disaster. That's exactly what that is. But because he's a part of the Falcon organization, he's categorized with the Atlanta Falcons. Because these things tend to happen with our Falcons on a regular basis. These things tend to occur with our Falcons on a regular basis. There's going to be some internal implosion at some point from somewhere. From a coach, from a player, and it's going to destroy momentum, and it's going to destroy any hopes that we have of being able to move back into the postseason. A lot of people think that this Falcon team was doomed. They thought we were doomed after that 28-3 debacle in the Super Bowl. But we came back in 2017 and we made it back to the playoffs and won a playoff game. We just couldn't get past the Rams, who went on to win the Super Bowl that year. Right? Didn't they win that year? Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Did they win or did they go? I can't remember. But I know they went to the Super Bowl that year. Corey said he cost the team a draft pick, 4 games, and now his interviews. Yeah. Because now they're not gonna put him on nobody else network. Now, can he go on his own? Probably. I don't know, depending on what his contract look like. He could probably go do interviews on his own. But if as far as the Falcons sending him somewhere, nah. He won't be going to speak on behalf of the Falcons nowhere, no time soon. Are the Falcons a self-sabotaging team? Over the course of time, over the course of history, this team does things that will kill any hope you had of them being a contender for a championship. They don't re-sign Deion Sanders. They let him walk. Brett Favre. People say, yeah, well, Brett wasn't playing all that well. He wasn't taking the job serious. He had a drinking problem. He had an attitude problem. You know, they had the problem. Okay, well, hindsight, maybe somebody should have worked with him on his issues. The 98-99 Super Bowl. You want to go buy hookers the night before. Eugene Robinson derailed all the momentum that team carried into the Super Bowl. The next Super Bowl appearance, the offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, loses the playbook. The voodoo starts to work itself, y'all. Is this a self-sabotaging team? I know a lot of people don't want to have this conversation because it feels like, as a Falcon fan, you're pretty much saying if you indulge in this conversation, It's almost like you're saying I'm on the brinks of not being a fan anymore, but that's not it. That's not it at all. I love my kids, but one of my kids, he tends to forget everything that you taught him and goes and does it and makes the same mistakes time and time again. Some would label him as a fuck up, but I'm his daddy. I love him no matter what. I love these Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to love them no matter what. But when I see a team that can't get out of its own way, I got to call it out. Our Atlanta Falcons cannot get out their own way. And it starts from the top right now. I can't speak for the 98-99 regime. But as far as right now, it starts at the top with Arthur Blank. Some of my contemporaries, they like to say that, well, he got too many people in his ear trying to tell him different things about what to do with football, and those people don't know what the fuck they talk about, so we get the results we get. Well, this is what I'm gonna tell everybody right now. When you're as wealthy as Arthur Blank, you're gonna have people in your ear constantly trying to tell you what to do with this and what to do with that when it comes to anything you're involved in. Even when he had Home Depot, he had people telling him, well, you know, this is a better manufacturer than these people, and we should have this supplier, we should have them more in the front of the store. You know, whatever the bullshit is. Arthur Blank all he need to know about football is that this person is this person fast and can catch, this person big and strong and can hit, and this person is very smart. That's all he need to fucking know about football. Something I like to say. Let me get it right here for y'all. Football is always never that complicated. Football is always never that complicated. Like any job, people have assignments, people have duties they're assigned to when they get these jobs. The overseer of those jobs is Arthur Blank. When a team continues to get in its own way time and time again, and when history repeats itself, the way history tends to repeat itself with the Falcons, damn near biblical the way it repeats itself with the Falcons. You had the opportunity to get one of the most winningest coaches in NFL history, and Bill Belichick, and instead we end up with Raheem Morris, a once before failed head coach. And we end up with two inexperienced play calling coordinators, all in the same fucking breath. And if you know the history of this team, the Atlanta Falcons passed on Vince Lombardi for somebody on his staff at the factioning of the Atlanta Falcons. And here we are, 50-some years later. Is this a self-sabotaging football team? Well, I mean, is it? Raheem Morris told everybody that Kirk Cousins is our guy for 4 straight weeks of losing and piss poor quarterback play. And they come to find out in hindsight that it was due to Kirk Cousins getting injured in week 10. But Raheem Morris told us that Kirk Cousins is our guy. Every single post-game show, every single post-game interview, he told us Kirk is our guy. Even when they didn't ask him yet, Kirk is our guy. Is this a case of a team determined to not look foolish in paying a quarterback coming off of a torn Achilles, going into his 12th season? A statuesque quarterback coming off a torn Achilles, going into his 12th season. Is this a football team's attempt at not looking foolish by continuing to play him, even though he's clearly hurt? But they paid him $200. They guaranteed him $90 million, possibly $100. Is this a football team doing that? Or is this a football team that was finessed by the finesser of finessers in Kirk Cousins? We already know him and his agent. They'll finesse the hell out of contract. They'll finesse the shit out of the locker room. Is this a front office that was foolish enough to fall for the finessing of Kirk Cousins to the point to where now you have a head coach in Raheem Morris that a lot of the fan base, some of the media, want to hang him for it? Figuratively, of course. Is this what this is? What is this? What kind of situation are we really looking at here? This half of the fan base, Kirk Cousins, he fucked us. Kirk Cousins finessed us. Kirk Cousins lied. Kirk Cousins, he shit the bed on this one. He the reason why we didn't make the playoffs. He the reason why we still not playing football right now. The other half. But Raheem Morris, and I'll be honest, saying half is kind of like giving it some grace. Most of the fan base is putting it on Kirk Cousins. Only some of the fan base is putting it on Raheem Morris. But there's still a good portion of the fan base that's like, how do you not see what was transpiring, make a decision to make a change before it's too late, putting Michael Penix in the game, letting him run the team and giving us a better shot at making the playoffs? Taking some of the damn weight off of you from taking a lot of this heat that you get. A lot of the fan base is saying that. Are they right in their assessment? I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on this. T. Terry say, I said it a long time ago that Morris is a used car salesman. He'll lie straight through them big ass teeth. He will. He'll lie straight through them big ass teeth. Me and Miss Pam, shout out to Miss Pam. Me and Miss Pam, we not Miss Pam, I'm sorry, but yeah, shout out to Miss Pam too. But shout out to Christian Lewis. Me and Christian Lewis said this like a long time ago, towards the beginning of the season this season. He talked too goddamn fast. What's all that fast talking? What you trying to get past me? You knew he's a slick talker. Raheem Morris knows exactly what he's doing. He's not a stupid person. He's not an unintelligent man. He knows exactly what he's doing. But guess what? Arthur Blank gave him his job. Arthur Blank hired him. It started at the top. The self-sabotaging ways of this team starts at the top. This ain't a 2024-25 issue. This is an Atlanta Falcons past 2 decades issue. We find ways to create turmoil within this organization. We find ways to create turmoil within this fan base. And it ruins any hope of being a contending football team. Jonte Rozier said, why Moore's getting so much hate? Because he's the head coach. And it's inevitable that the head coach, he inevitably has the last say-so when it comes to on the field play. He called that shot at the end of the day. The owner can say, don't do this, don't do that. Don't play this guy too much. Play this guy more. If you watched Any Given Sunday and you didn't play the game, but you watched Any Given Sunday, it's a perfect example of how the politics work in football. The owner can say this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, the coach is going to call what he's going to call. He's going to call the shot he's going to call. At the end of the day, Raheem Morris decides whether or not he's going to play somebody or not. Everybody and their grandmama saw. Everybody and their blind grandma saw Kirk Cousins go out on that field and funk up the goddamn field. He would, but this is the thing, and this is my 2 cents on it all. T. Terry, he say Morris is from New Jersey area, fast talking people. Yeah, the part of New Jersey that's actually smart, that got some common sense. Most of New Jersey is a bunch of half-wit motherfuckers. But this is my 2 cents on it. Are the Falcons a self-sabotaging team? Yes, they are. We are a self-sabotaging team. I laid it out already over the course of history, the things that have occurred with this organization that leaves a lot of people scratching their heads like, how, why, what the fuck? But how do you cure self-sabotaging? That's the question here. How do we keep this from continuing? How do we keep players from coming out at the beginning of off seasons and claiming they was hurt, and now everybody looking at the coaching staff and the training staff and the medical staff and asking them, how the fuck y'all didn't catch this? If you really did know that he was hurt, how did you not know? How could you not know? See, it leaves too many questions to be asked. It leaves too many people to look at that try to hold accountable for fuck shit by not saying you were hurt. But it also leaves everybody wondering, well, what kind of front office do you have? What kind of front office do you have if everybody in their damn blind grandmama can watch this man try to throw a football over his head from a warrior stance elbow out with no pressure on him whatsoever, and he throw a dud. How does anybody see that in that front office or on that coaching staff and not say, okay, something wrong with the boy. We got to sit him down. Instead, you continue to proceed to let him go out there and throw another 5 or so interceptions and no touchdowns, and we lose another one possession game. When the rest of the team is doing everything they fucking can to try to win the damn game. That's the indictment on Terry Fontenot. Not Terry Fontenot, I'm sorry, on Raheem Morris. But to say that he should get all the blame or he should get the sole blame of this, it's unfair. Because when we do that, when we try to highlight somebody else's deficiency and ignore others, there's a motive involved. There's a narrative trying to be spun. That's not okay. That's irresponsible. The responsible thing to do is to look at everybody's skin in the game and say that everybody got skin in. These are all the people got skin in the game. We need to hold everybody accountable. No one person is going to get these lashings. Everybody who's being held accountable has to get these lashings. Now, Jimmy Lake and Jay Rogers were the first to get their lashings from the organization. They are now gone. You now have Jeff Ulbrich as your defensive coordinator. You now have somebody came in as the linebackers coach, but not. I don't think they filled the the defensive line position yet. But those guys are gone. They were the first to get the lashings from management. Now we go. Now we know that there's a process to this for everybody that did not know. Now you see that there's a process. You see there's a hierarchy, a chain of command. And while you do have to look at the ignorance of your head coach and the gullibleness of him and say, you cannot be gullible in these situations. You cannot be blind and ignorant to what's going on around you in these situations when it comes to your players, especially your quarterback. We need you to be a better diagnoser of what's going on with your players, and then proceed accordingly in making these decisions to make a change if need be. That's what we look at Raheem Morris and say, this is what we hold you accountable for. You didn't do a good job of this. Do a better job next time, or there won't be a time after that. But with Kirk Cousins, he was benched too late, of course, which is what is in line with what I just said about Raheem Morris. But him coming out and saying that he was hurt, he got hurt week 10 in multiple areas of his body that affected his throwing motion, that affected the power that he had in throws, which affected his decision making on making throws. How do you not look at Kirk Cousins and say, hey, bro, you gonna get about 50 of these lashings? You got to get 50 of these lashings. Raheem Morris, you going to get some lashes. But Kirk, you finna get 50 of these things. Because you handcuffed my football team when we had a legit chance at being a contender in this postseason. That's my 2 cents on it. Let me see what y'all talking about. Jonathan Rogel, he say, if he tells you he good to go, I mean, what you supposed to do? Yeah, And see, that's the thing. See, there's practice. Not just games, there's practice too. But there's not just games, there's practice too. So if he's injured during a game, he comes back in practice, he's able to make throws. He's able to make the decision. He's able to make the smart decisions. Of course, we know practice is not going to go at the speed of a game. So there's ways for a player who's been in the league, who's got some moxie and some know-how. There's ways for a player to hide how hurt they really are. You know you're not going as hard as you're going to go like in training camp. You're not going to go as hard. You know you're not going to go out there and do things that you would normally do, that a coach would see and say, that didn't look right. Do we need to have a conversation? There's a way to hide your injuries. There's a way to hide what's really going on with you. Because you can go out there and practice and still make the throws. You can still go out there and step into throws. You can still go out there and do what's necessary. You feel the pain, but not necessarily to the extent that you would during a game where now you really getting popped. You really feeling some pressure and you really getting hands put on you. You really getting a hat put on you. Hats plural put on you. And now these injuries are intensified. So there's ways of hiding these injuries. And make no mistake about it, everybody plays hurt, including quarterbacks. And they're still capable of going out there and producing a good enough gameplay to where they benefit to the team succeeding. Especially somebody that's supposed to be at the caliber of Kirk Cousins. Southside, what's up with you, bro? 3 Duddy, what's happening with your 3 Duddy? That's one of 3 Duddy or OG, man. He said accountability has to be established for all jobs. The agenda as we have it now is not focused on the integrity of the franchise, not to cushion your resume for your next position. Accountability is funny because it's now, I think we in a world where you can classify accountability in the same folder with common sense. Two things that you would think that would just naturally fall into place, but they don't. People create a gray area for those two things. For accountability and common sense, people create gray area for them to exist when there should be none to exist at all. It should be black and white. Either you're going to be held accountable because you have skin in the game and you are a part of the reason for something not happening or something happening, or you're not going to be held accountable at all because you literally had absolutely nothing to do with the outcome. That's how accountability should work. No gray area. Everybody has something to do with it. Everybody. I even go to the extent to say that with the receivers, with Drake London and Darnell Mooney, once teams started seeing that, yeah, these guys will beat us, we got to play 2 safeties high. We got to make sure we take away the deep third of the field. We got to take it away. Your accountability as outside receivers is to, in film with your coaches, is have a voice and say, maybe we need to switch up what we do on the outside a little bit. Maybe we can be used to get open more somewhere along the sideline. Get open more somewhere in the flats. Let us use our playmaking ability after the catch. give more options and have a voice on how you can continue to be an asset in the passing game, as opposed to just letting now teams just taking two safeties high and they just taking you away. Now everybody backing up 5 to 10 yards off you. They making sure that you can't run these deep routes like you've been doing. That's the accountability that you put on the receivers. Outside of that, ain't too much you can say about those guys. Yeah, they had some drop balls in a couple games, but for the most part, Darnell Mooney and Drake London did their goddamn jobs. Drake London, he might have heard us once or twice on some unsportsmanlike conduct because he got a little too hype, got a little too into what was going on. But he's passionate. Give him more opportunities and that was one thing we did see. We said give Drake more opportunities in the end zone on 50-50 balls. Michael Penix did it and Kirk Cousins did that. They both did that. I look at the offensive line. Chris Lindstrom, you got too many penalties this year. Matthew Bergeron, too many penalties. Jake Matthews, you got beat too many times. Hell, I'm looking at Dahlman, and I'm saying, Dahlman, could you have came back a little sooner? Even though he didn't need to, because Newsel actually stepped in and did the goddamn thing when he was in there. But maybe some pass rushes don't get back there to Kirk in week 10 when they get back there from up the middle if Dahlman is in the game. Who knows? But everybody has to be held accountable. Jonte Rosier say we signed D-line coach from the Texans. Okay. Three Duddy said it was clear that Kirk had a new injury during the Saints game. Cool was injured from last season. It can't be said that it wasn't noticed. Yeah, Cool was missing last year, y'all. Everybody acted like he missed this year. He missed 5 kicks last year. He missed 5 kicks the year before that. I don't know why people trying to act like he don't miss. He a no miss guy. He can't miss. He couldn't miss before this year. We don't know what happened. Nah, he been missing. He been missing some kicks. It's just this year it got real bad. It got real bad this year because maybe he should have. Maybe he should have worked on rehabbing instead of more on whatever happened with his hip. Maybe he should have worked on rehabbing more. Southside say it was a terrible decision by both parties. Kirk for saying he's perfectly okay and Raheem for constantly putting him out there. Absolutely. You got to give both of them lashings, man. And whether people want to admit it or not, Kirk got to get most of the lashings because ultimately Kirk is the deceiver here. He's ultimately the deceiver. If anybody can say they've never been deceived or hoodwinked or bamboozled before by somebody and was left to look like they had pie in the face afterwards and it made you feel ashamed that you fell for the bullshit, you are not in tune with who you are. You got some self-conscious issues. You're a little insecure. If you can't admit that you done been bamboozled and hoodwinked before. You done been finessed before. We all done been there. We all have been there. Somebody's finessed us in some kind of way, and we fell for the bullshit. And I know people won't say, well, his job is to not get finessed. Look, man, with all the money that's involved in football and NFL,
Hell, college too now. With all the money that's involved in it, you bet your ass everybody getting finessed at some point. Everybody finna take some finessing at some point. Sometimes it's greed that get in the way. Sometimes it's pride. And sometimes it's just simply, I wanted it to be okay because I needed it to be okay. I don't think anybody thinking about that from Raheem Moore's perspective. I don't think anybody thinking about that from his perspective. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate, so to speak, on the tweet. Baby, from his perspective is, I'm looking at everything that's in place here. I got a guy who I just signed for a possible $100 million guaranteed contract, 90 for sure is guaranteed. I got this guy who, when I look at him, I don't see something that's right. Something don't look right. But he's telling me he's good. And when we go to practice, he looks good. He's making throws I need him to make in practice. And even during some of these games, he would make throws and you're like, okay, maybe he is all right. And then he wouldn't make certain throws and you'll say, well, damn, what's wrong? Is something mentally wrong with him or physically wrong with him? You didn't really know. You just knew something was wrong. So he's looking at that and he's saying, damn, he still got to be my best option. He still got to be my best option. If I pull him and the young boy get in there, the young buck get in there and the young buck wasn't ready, and I ruin his life, and I ruin any chance of us being able to make some noise in this postseason, that's a fireable offense as well. The best card, and I know a lot of people not gonna like this, but the best card for him to play was the Kirk Cousins card. He just played it too many times for too long. After the third hand, you're supposed to be like, oh, no, I can't let this continue. I can't let this continue. What was that fourth loss? The Minnesota game? Was the Minnesota game the fourth loss? If Kirk Cousins is pulled for the Minnesota game, excuse me, if he was that game? Somebody remind me what that fourth loss was, because it was 4 straight losses. If Kirk Cousins is pulled a game sooner, before the Giants game, do people realize that just that one more game probably is what you need for Michael Penix to give you a little bit more of an edge in that Washington game, and we don't go into overtime and we win that game? I mean, we don't know, but I'm just saying, who knows? Who knows what that one more game would have gave him? What that one more game would have gave the team? Who knows? He played the Kirk Cousins card too soon. He played too fast. Not too. So I'm sorry, I'm tripping. But he played the Kirk Cousins card for too long. But it was his best card to play when it comes to him staying employed as the Atlanta Falcons head coach. Because you make that choice to play that young buck, and that young buck get out there and he showed that he wasn't ready. And now so many narratives about maybe Michael Penix ain't the guy. Maybe Michael Penix did. All these narratives get spun, and now your GM looking at you, looking at him, looking at the hot seat. You looking at the hot seat. quarterback coaches looking at the hot seat, and Yates and the other guy. Now it is more than just his job that's on the line when he makes that decision to move on from the 90 million, possibly 100 guaranteed quarterback that you just acquired. Who, by the way, going into 6-3 wasn't looking bad. He was making it was some signs there that he had, but you said, okay, well, maybe that's still him just finding his throwing motion. Maybe that's just him still trying to get that throwing motion off of that Achilles. But we were 6-3. And we had a 500-yard game, followed up with a 300-yard game. He averaged 250 yards a game. So when you look at that, we know why Raheem Morris kept playing that card. Because it ain't that he want him to be the best choice. He had to be the best choice. He needed him to be the best choice. Because that's the situation. That's the position that your team is in as an organization with a 90 million guaranteed quarterback. That's the deal. Jobs will be on the line if you call that shot for pennies. And he wasn't ready. Especially when you got Daniels ripping up the damn field. Bo Nix ripping up the damn field. You got guys that came in the same year as he did out there tearing it up. And he gets his opportunity and he wets the bed time and time again. These are the things that are going on from Raheem Morris's perspective. Now, do I think that that's a good enough excuse? No. I don't. Because I would have made the call myself. We got to sit you. We got to play the young buck. Get his team a better shot, in my professional opinion, to win these games so we can keep control of the South and be in control of our own destiny. T. Terry say Kurt was hurt after the Saints game. He became old yellow at mid-season. Old yeller. It's old yeller, T. Terry. Another said, with the new money that is in the picture now in sports gambling, the politics is different now. The influence is on another level. The contract politics is in full effect. That's true. And you can't ignore that. You can't ignore the business side of the NFL. Because they've made it a point to show you that your entertainment comes at a cost. You can either indulge with us, or you can be the salty plenty that hate that it comes to the politics being the reason why your team doesn't succeed and make it into the postseason or make it out of the postseason. That's the way the shit is, man. That's just the way the shit is. The politics are going to affect your team's potential success. It's just how it is. Look at the NBA right now. Anybody that thinks the Luka Doncic trade to the Lakers didn't have something to do with the NBA, didn't have something to do with the league being behind it, you're very ignorant to how the politics work in sports, especially in the NBA and in football. But especially in the NBA. clearly the league is behind Luka Doncic going to the Lakers and AD going to Dallas. Both teams don't hurt from the trade. Both teams benefit from the trade. But the team that everybody wants to see succeeding again for marketing reasons, the Lakers, that team is going to benefit the most. Anthony Davis to the Mavs, first couple years, including this one, yeah, they probably might make some noise. We could be seeing the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. That's absolutely probably your best bet right now at what you're going to see. A lot of people saying Oklahoma City and the Lakers, but you got Kyrie and AD on the same team with a lot of those pieces that they got in Dallas. Oklahoma City just got a very well put together basketball team. This Mavs team is very well put together, and they got two superstars. So yeah. Same for the Lakers. So that the politics is going to dictate the potential success of your team. And a lot of the times the politics don't favor teams. It's probably 70-30 in that area. It's probably 70-30. 70% of the time, the politics is going to ruin a fan base's hopes for their team doing anything. Championship-wise, winning-wise. But 30% of the time, you're the Lakers. 30% of the time, you're LeBron James. That's just keeping it a buck. 3 Dot also said Saints, Broncos, Chargers, Vikings. Yeah, that was the order. That's how it went. MPJ should have played after the bye, after the Broncos. I agree. T. Terry said Kurt looked like that old white quarterback on the movie Any Given Sunday when he lost his will of playing. His body got old. Then Jamie Foxx came in there and ball out. That's MP. Yeah, so I think the beginning. Let me say the beginning of that Washington game was Jamie Foxx at the beginning of that playoff game. Or better yet, at the beginning of the first game he came in and played, and the beginning of that Washington game. And then he finished both of the games phenomenally. That's actually a very accurate comparison, T-Terry. But anyway, been at this thing for about an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing on up. If I had a guest that was come through, if somebody was in the back, I mean, I apologize. I got to talking and ranting on. But I would like to think somebody would have left me a message if they was in the back. But I don't think that were. Southside, he said I knew he was hurt when he threw a wide open end zone interception to 3 Chargers. Yeah. When you got a man literally running adjacent to you, waiting for you to throw the damn ball to him wide the fuck open in Bijan Robinson, and yet you lob that motherfucker in the end zone to the Chargers' whole fucking defensive secondary group. Yeah. We knew something was wrong then, but we thought then it was psychological because that was just some stupid shit. That was just stupid. Oh, man. I appreciate y'all coming through. Southside 12, T. Terry, 3 Dirty, John Terry Rozier, appreciate you coming through. Michael, Corey Gill 5, appreciate everybody coming through, man. If I missed you, I apologize. Brian Peoples, King Quest, appreciate everybody coming through, man. Y'all make sure y'all check your boy out on Thursday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time at this time for the Rex Pick. We're probably gonna bring back in a couple weeks. We're probably gonna bring back fan speak Mondays, and we probably gonna bring back Let's Be Clear on Wednesdays. But we'll probably do that in a couple weeks. I'm about being open and front with y'all. Your boy Blakberry, I work a lot when it comes when I am working. I haven't been working lately. I've been pretty much being daddy, and I'll be back to work in a couple weeks. So I'm gonna be back out there. I'm gonna be back in my truck. I'll be back around the city. Y'all might see me somewhere at a Kroger or Walmart or a Sam's Club or a Costco or some bullshit or some shit like that. Or all this. You're gonna see me. You might see me around the city delivering some water, or delivering, some goods, some perishables, or something of the sort, some dry goods to your local watering hole or to your local market where you go grocery shop. You might see me delivering to a JC Penney or a Macy's. You might see me delivering at a Colgate or a Quaker Oats. You're gonna see your boy about in the city delivering again in a couple weeks. But that ain't been the case lately. Lately, your boy been right here at the crib taking care of my babies while my wife worked from home and ain't got to worry about these kids running them up, keeping her from being able to meet her goals at work. So I don't get to, I can't be live like that. I can't be, I can't do, I could do more videos and post them. And I think that's what I decided tonight that I'm gonna start doing. I posted a couple videos about the Hawks. A couple videos about the Hawks trading DeAndre Hunter and Bogdan Bogdanovic, and I wanted to speak more on that tonight. But I done got to talking about these goddamn Falcons, and I'm just gonna have to post a video in the morning or something, talk or go live in the morning and talk about these Hawks in the morning. So anybody that wanted to come through for some Hawks talk, y'all just look out for your boy. Hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe bell, and check your boy out tomorrow morning. I do a live tomorrow morning and talk about these Hawks after I'm done, playing, taking care of my babies and getting them ready for school and all that stuff. I do a live sometime tomorrow morning, and we're gonna discuss them Hawks, man. But your boy, I ain't really been able to go live like that because you just can't do it. My wife, she don't like sharing me already as it is with everybody on this thing that we do. But since I've been not out on the road in the truck, yeah, she like, nah, fuck that shit. Like, you can go live on your little Thursday show, but all that other shit, hell nah, I need it. Y'all know how it is. Y'all know how it is. She young wife. She a young wife. She a young wife. She 34. Well, 33. She 33. My wife 33. Yeah, my wife, she 33. I got a young wife. Well, y'all know how it is. Y'all know how when she clock out work, you got to clock in. You know how it is. I'm trying not to make baby number 4. So, with that being said, your boy won't be going live like that for a couple more weeks. But we's going to be here on Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look out for that Hawks live tomorrow morning. We're going to talk about the DeAndre Hunter trade and the Bogdan Bogdanovic trade. We got DeAndre Hunter went to the Cavs. We got Bogey. He went to the LA Clippers. And guess what? Trae Young is still the face of the Atlanta Hawks, some bitches. With that being said, this been your boy Blakberry Loretz. This is the home team and nothing but the motherfucking home team with your boy Blakberry. No C, just the K. Catch me on the flip side. Home team.